Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you guys doing this evening? How is everything? Are you doing okay? Well, you guys know I'm a big fan of Halloween, so I had to bring up Michael. I'm preparing for Halloween. We always have a big hunt, and I just enjoy this season, the fall, and watching scary movies. So anyway, I'm here tonight. I have 3 videos coming up about Negasi Zuberi. This video here is going to talk about the second alleged victim. She testifies in court. She testified last week, okay? And I want to tell you her testimony. I think it's important. And I'm highlighting her testimony because of how she was handled, how she felt she was handled by local police, okay? That's very important, how you handle victims, especially as assault victims, okay? And then the second video that I have on Negasi Zuberi is going to talk about how he didn't want to testify. And then after closing arguments, he changed his mind. However, the jury, they already received their instructions, but I guess maybe he felt like, uh-oh, this is looking pretty bad for me. I changed my mind. Now I want to testify. Judge, pause, stop. And the judge is like, no, I'm not having that. You made your decision. You were given ample opportunity. I spoke to you. I talked to you. We had this on the record. The prosecution, they gave their closing argument. The defense gave their closing argument. The jury has received its instructions. We're moving on to a verdict, okay? And then, of course, the verdict is in. It's no surprise that he was found guilty, but we're going to get to all of that. So I'm going to break it down into smaller videos. So first tonight, we're going to talk about the testimony of the alleged second victim. What did she say? How was she treated? Was she properly handled? Did law enforcement take her allegations seriously? What did they do about it? I mean, she goes in on how she felt, how they didn't really want to take any evidence. It's looking really sad for what happened allegedly. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it, okay? So my article is coming from www.opb.org. I do want to say this too. They thought the trial was going to go 3 weeks. It only went 2 weeks. Everything was literally wrapped up in 2 weeks, but they anticipated 3 weeks. But the defense, they really didn't put on a defense. Mr. Zuberi decided not to testify and then changed his mind, but it was too late. So everything wrapped up in 2 weeks plus the verdict. The verdict only took 4 hours. The jurors, they were really convinced, hey, this person is dangerous. Look what the allegations are. Look at these victims, how they were handled, how they were allegedly assaulted, how they were held captive, how he would just take them, okay? So we're going to do all of that in a separate video. I'm trying to keep them a little bit shorter. So let's get started. The title of the article is Second Alleged Victim in Klamath Falls Kidnapping Case Testifies in Medford Federal Court. The article is dated October 17, 2024. So this is hot off the press, right? The case, it really moved quickly. The trial, it really moved quickly. Y'all see my orange nails. So Halloween. Okay. Put that to the side. But it moved fast, right? They anticipated more time, but they didn't need it, okay? So the article is by Justin Higginbottom. On the stand in the courtroom at Medford James A. Redden U.S. Courthouse, a 22-year-old Klamath Falls woman said she felt ignored by local police when she reported her alleged and kidnapping by Negasi Zuberi in May of last year. So, could something have changed if the police had done more, if they had taken her allegations more seriously, if they had investigated it more, if they went to him, if they went to the house, if they had a search warrant, if they found out who he was, if they were able to obtain DNA, find out, okay, investigate her allegations. Let me continue. She claimed local officers were reluctant to follow up and didn't take evidence she had carefully kept, including her bloodied clothes. So, although this alleged victim is young, she knew to take the evidence, to preserve it, to save it, to turn it over to police. And she's saying she felt that they were reluctant. She felt ignored by the police, that they didn't want to assist her. They didn't want to investigate this. They really didn't want to take her allegations seriously. They didn't even want to take the clothes she saved that were bloody. Pretty sad, right? Pretty sad. We got to do better. We got to do better. On Wednesday, jurors got the chance to hear that woman's story. They looked to be listening closely as she described being taken by Zuberi after celebrating Cinco de Mayo at a Klamath Falls bar. She went on to claim that Zuberi shackled her wrists and ankles. Doesn't this sound familiar? Doesn't this sound like what he allegedly did to the next victim, right? Tased. Remember, he threatened to tase the second victim, right? The other victim, B and R her. At one point, he fired a pow pow through the open passenger window, she claimed, with the spent casing landing on her lap. She said Zuberi drove her to his house, covering her face with a sweatshirt and blanket, where she alleges she saw a pile of cinder blocks in the garage. So, Mr. Zuberi is allegedly comfortable abducting, kidnapping, and bringing his alleged victims to his personal residence. That's scary business. That is scary business, okay? Concussed from the physical assault, she says she repeated the names of friends and family in her head to stay awake. I genuinely thought I was dying, the witness recalled. She said part of her was hoping she did die. That's pretty sad. When she survives, she goes to report the incident, and the police, they're not handling her gently. They're not showing care and concern. She feel ignored. She feel like they really don't want to be bothered. They're reluctant to help her. And that's not how you should treat anyone, especially a victim, alleged victim, okay? She alleged Zuberi told her that his plan was to impregnate many women and raise an army with their children. For what purpose? What would you need an army for? How would these people listen to you, respect you, go under your command if you are abducting, kidnapping, R-ing their mother? Makes no sense. She also claims Zuberi forced her to act in a video of the R so that it might look consensual for authorities. So that means that he allegedly recorded the activities. Eventually, she said Zuberi took her to an ATM, handed her $300, and let her out of his car. He threatened to unalive her and her family if she told police, she said, as well as release the video of her having with him, warning her that your body will never be just yours again. I wonder if law enforcement was able to obtain that ATM video. When you go to the ATM machine, there is a camera. I wonder if they were able to go and retrieve that video of him doing that withdrawal. And is she seen in the video in the car? Okay. But the woman did report the alleged crimes, although she said she wasn't brought in by officers until Zuberi had been arrested over 2 months later for abducting and harming a Seattle woman. So nothing in her case really took off until he was found in the second incident for abducting the woman out of state and bringing her also allegedly to his home in Klamath Falls, where he allegedly put her in the cinder block cell and she was able to get away. The woman claims Zuberi tried to keep her in a cinder block cell before she escaped. So 2 months later, allegedly he does it again. Earlier this week, prosecutors played video of Zuberi's arrest in a parking lot of a Reno, Nevada Walmart. Approached by 6 police cars, Zuberi seemed incredulous when officers told him he was being arrested for a probation violation. Earlier this week, prosecutors, what about that other SH blank T, the court heard him say in a body cam recording, because he already knows what these possible allegations would be. So he's like, what about the other stuff? You're here for a probation violation. You come and get me in a Walmart parking lot for this? What about all that other stuff that could be pending? Because he knows that victim escaped, right? He knows that. That's why he ran, allegedly. At first, he refused to exit his vehicle, the same type both alleged victims accused him of using during their abduction, as one of his children said inside. If I get out of the car, my life is done, he said. Police testified that Zuberi had cut his leg in a possible attempt of unaliving himself during the standoff. It looks like my attempt to unalive myself is not working, Zuberi told an officer at the time. He faces counts of kidnapping, transportation for criminal sexual activity, activity, and gun charges. The trial is expected to last through October. Well, the trial didn't last through October. It's already over. It's done. And he was found guilty. I'll say that. So I want to share a short video, and then we will wrap this video up, okay? So let me share my screen. The title of the video is called Klamath Falls Woman Leaves Jury Her Account of Accused Kidnap R in Zuberi Trial. And this video is provided by News Watch 12. It's under 2 minutes long.
And a Klamath Falls woman says when she reported a kidnapping and rape to Klamath Falls Police Department, it was, quote, completely degrading, end quote.
The woman is listed as one of 2 kidnap victims of 30-year-old Klamath Falls man Negasi Zuberi. The woman shared her Klamath Falls police experience today with a federal court jury in Medford, where Zuberi is on trial. And
News Watch 12's Jerry Howard was in court when she told about reporting a kidnap, rape, and assault to police. Jerry.
Yeah, Haley, Tim, The woman told the court that about that experience as she spent her day telling about a kidnapping, rapes, and assaults, and she pointed at Zuberi in court as her attacker. The woman says after an overnight abduction involving Zuberi and a gun, taser, handcuffs, leg shackles, rape and other violations, beatings, and death threats, she went to a hospital and she called police. About the police officer response, the woman said, quote, "I felt like she could not have cared less. She didn't seem concerned," end quote. The witness told the court today she felt terrified, inhuman, and completely degrading, like she was making the wrong decision by reporting the crime under risk of Zuberi's death threat if she reported him. The woman said the Klamath Falls police officer rejected her clothing from the attack, rejected an electronic evidence item, rejected drawings of Zuberi and the possible crime scene, and only took chapstick Zuberi had given the woman. She said she decided to report Zuberi to police because of a likely chance he would hurt someone else. 2 months later, the same federal case's second kidnap and sex charge victim was abducted.
Election day.
Okay. So when you hear all of the things that they rejected, they didn't take seriously, they didn't take that evidence. There may be a need for some training, some officer training, some sensitivity training, some victim advocate work there in this community. It's pretty harsh, right? That does make you feel degraded, deflated, like she said, inhumane, because you've already been allegedly violated, and now you go to kind of seek refuge. You go to the police, you report what you feel happened, and that being a crime or multiple crimes, and this is how you're treated, is it's really unacceptable. And I feel like there definitely needs to be some acknowledgement. There needs to be some training. They definitely need to address her testimony, specifically how she was handled. Whoever was the person in intake taking her report, they should be providing her with services, some counseling, therapy, some victim advocate support. I mean, it's really, really unfortunate, and it's unacceptable, I believe, how she was handled. And I hope that is addressed. Yeah, I hope that's addressed, because nobody of a crime should be treated in that manner, especially a crime such as this, where you are already threatened, you already harmed, you've already been assaulted, violated, and now you have to recount this, and the person on the other end is not being helpful, is not being sensitive. It takes training, specialized training, and there are units in police forces, in police departments that are more sensitive to as crime victims. There's a special unit dedicated to this type of crime reporting, and I feel that the way this was handled is really is wrong, and it needs to be addressed. I'll just leave it there. But that was the second victim's testimony. Very similar allegations: being abducted, being kidnapped, being assaulted, being cuffed, the threat, the taser, the pow, all of that intimidation, being put in a cinder block. Very similar, same time frame, about 2 months apart. If the police had done more, would maybe the second victim not have even been a victim? We have to take these crimes, these allegations seriously. Could they have gotten any DNA from the blood, any DNA fingerprints from the items? Was she able to remember the house? They say that she was, kind of blindfolded with a sweatshirt, but, could she have any type of recounting that could help lead to him? Okay. I think that they were able to connect the cases because the allegations of what happened, the recount of what happened is so similar. Maybe a similar vehicle, even though the other case, she was taken allegedly out of state and brought to his home. They both allegedly were brought back to his home, placed in a cinder block, as assaulted, handcuffed, very similar allegations. So I'm going to come back in my second video and we're going to go over really, I want to go, I want to talk about the mindset of Mr. Zuberi and how he did not want to testify, but I believe when he heard those closing arguments, he wanted to change his mind, but the judge did not allow it. This is a case that's over. Maybe I can do it all in one video. Go with what happened in him not testifying. Also go over the verdict. But this is a big win for. I want to say the FBI really handled this case. They prosecuted it federally, but this is a big win for them because this person, Mr. Zuberi, he had lived in many states. There could be more victims allegedly, okay? So this is a big win for them. I think they did an excellent job. I'm glad that they were able to get a conviction of him. And I just want to talk a little bit more about his actions at the end. I think they were very interesting, and I think they got a very dangerous man off of the street, okay? So I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me on a Monday. You guys don't realize how busy I am. I'm so busy, but I wanted to bring Mr. Zuberi's case to a close, that he was convicted, and we'll talk about that. And then I haven't read up into go any further for his sentencing date, but he will have a sentencing date, and I would like to know if he's going to speak at his sentencing. I don't know. I thought he would testify because the two cases was stacked against him. Also, if they were going to charge him with trying to break out of the prison as well, I guess they were going to hold that just in case. So, we'll see. But I'm going to come back. I'm going to do at least one more video definitely on how his behavior was after the closing arguments. And then I'll let you know again that he was convicted. I want to talk about that quick 4-hour deliberation by the jury. It didn't take them long. So that lets you know that the prosecutors, they really had a strong case. They had evidence. They had two strong victims that were willing to testify. And I have a video about how do you be a strong witness, how to prepare to be a witness if you're going to testify. I'm sure they work with them on their testimony. And, these are two very strong women to come forward and testify against their alleged abductor. So kudos to them. So I do want to wrap that up. And then, of course, I will come back when Mr. Zuberi is sentenced, and I will give you an update on that. So please, all my friends, remember to stay safe, stay smart, stay savvy. I want you to be well. Take care of yourself, your loved ones. Be well, all my friends. Have a beautiful evening, everybody. Take care, be well. Bye, everybody. Bye.